to say is based on what is in your program, which has a nicely invented title, Literature in Language Education, which earlier this morning, a similar talk was called 5 Skills English, which is why that is the title on the screen here. The content is much the same, however. But in the tradition of all flexible teachers, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start with something else. Like many teachers, I read the newspaper in the morning and I get my inspiration for what I'm going to do in the class from what I read in the paper. And this morning in the paper, I read, even in Taiwan, it was news, that in England they have appointed a new poet laureate, the official authorized poet of the nation. And it's a friend of mine, and I'm rather pleased. She is, well, for the first time in the history of English, it's a woman, which is a good thing. She's gay, it's a good thing. And possibly even more important than that, she is Scottish, which is the first time we've had a Scottish poet laureate in the English language. And since English is no longer, as you very well know, the possession of the English, or even of native speakers, I'm all the happier that Carol Ann Duffy has been made Poet Laureate. So I want to start this morning with a text by Carol Ann for you. And I want to get you thinking, because as the lady who's introducing me just said, the 5th skill, which we'll be talking about all morning, is the thinking skill. And we'll be looking at that in just a moment. But I want you to think, while I change the transparency there, I want you to think, please, even at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, think of love. Can you manage that? Freud says that most of us think of something like that every 2 or 3 minutes anyway. But I want you to think on a higher plane. You're thinking of love. And I want you to think, and possibly even write down, 1 or 2 associations of the word love. Symbols, images, flowers, the body, the emotions. Write down 1 or 2 things that you think about when you think about love. And then I'm going to ask you, because I don't do a normal kind of plenary lecture, I want you guys to be involved as well. So that I want some input from you, and then I'll show you something that a poet has made of the same subject. Think about that while I minimize this, put it down there, and bring up So you're thinking, you're writing, you're producing already, I hope. Now, would somebody like to tell me some of the things that you're thinking about love? Tell me something about love. You look as if you know all about it.
Flowers, chocolates.
Flowers and chocolates.
Lady Buddha.
Pardon?
Lady Buddha.
I'm not making that out.
Lady Buddha is a kind of dog.
A teddy Buddha is a kind of a dog. You have a relationship with a dog. I'm very happy for you and the dog. Something else about love? Family and life. Something else about love?
Do your best to please the one you love.
Do your best to please the one you love. Aww. Everybody together? Aww. Aww. That's nice. Thank you. Something about love? Yeah. Tears. Now clearly on the other side over here, we have a different set of emotions going. Tears. Any more negative things from love?
Love can be evil.
Love can be evil.
Spell backwards.
Evil.
Evil.
Which means you can't spell evil. But neither could George Bush, who was the most evil person in the world. Love?
My wife.
Your wife isn't that good. Give him a round of applause. Most men are not honest enough to say they love their wives. Love?
Ocean.
Oceans, endless, deep, profound. What flower do you associate with love? Roses. In every culture? I think roses are in every culture. And there's a very, very great Scottish poet, Robert Burns, whose work you know, who wrote, "My love is like a red, red rose." People often ask me, using literature, can we use old texts? Well, I think that's one of the simplest and most beautiful texts in the world. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. Now, that's not difficult. People often tell me literature is difficult. The people who make it difficult are the teachers. The poets don't make it difficult. The writers don't make it difficult. The writers want to communicate. And we can dim the lights now and look at Carol Ann Duffy, because she's writing a poem with that title, Valentine. Let me ask you, is that a positive title or a negative title?
Both.
I think most people would see Valentine as positive. I hope so. I hope so. But we just said a rose. One of the most famous things about the rose is that it's beautiful, but that it has a thorn. And what part of the body represents love most often?
Heart.
The heart, indeed. And if you can find, oh, it must be there. That's where it is. Your heart is what guides your emotions in love, not your head. But look at the first word of Carol Ann Duffy's poem, Valentine. She starts with a negative. That's a surprise. Because most of us, if we were writing a poem called Valentine, we would say something positive. And one of the virtues of using texts like this is the element of surprise. Texts in literature, representational texts in language teaching, are texts which surprise us. And she says, not a red rose, or a satin heart. So she's already contradicting what we expected from a nice poem about love. Bless you. You're allergic to this kind of poem, are you? This is a surprise. One of the things we have to teach our students to do is to appreciate the surprise, appreciate the difference, appreciate the unexpected. Because what literature gives us, and I always call it literature with a small L, what literature gives us is something to inspire us, to make us think, to shock us, to show us the world in new ways. The ordinary language that we learn and we teach is referential language. One word has one meaning. But in literature, the words have lots and lots of different meanings. Tell that man to go away. And next time he comes, to close the door. That's it. Good. Well done. Instead of a... Yeah, he's back. Go away. I love it. I love it. You can't get the staff nowadays. That's the problem. You can't get the staff. I give you, what does she want to give us instead of a red rose or a satin heart?
Onion.
I give you an onion. Now, I'm willing to bet that nobody in this room imagined that she would give an onion. Is an onion positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative, why? What does an onion make you think of?
Tears.
Tears. Ah, but we had tears. Somebody said love can be sad, bitter, evil. Love can be negative, can't it? those of you who are married